Shall we talk about the film?
Sure.
All right. Repeat the Uma Thurman dance, well, a different kind of dance, but the one that you did in Pulp Fiction.
Well, you need to read the contract for one thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And know how to manage your money.
That's right.
But he was, you know, fearless and unflappable.
Cool.
And cool, and I think that's kind of the original definition of cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, thank you.
You see, what's interesting is you talk about that background of yours, and it wasn't too long ago either. We're not talking about the dim and
we're
distant.
talking, 40 years ago.
Now, if I'd have said to you 30 years ago, Samuel Jackson, from that background, that you will become one day what you are now, this huge star, your films have taken more money than any other film star, what would you have said to me?
I would have said you were crazy. It's not one of the professions that you could look at during that particular era and say you could do it and become successful at it, or it was even a possibility for me to fathom myself leaving Chattanooga, Tennessee and ending up in Hollywood, California, or even being on the stage right here tonight in the United Kingdom talking to you. It was just not something I could imagine. My future was either in medicine or education. Those were the jobs that I knew that were open to me. I could be a doctor, I could be a teacher, possibly a lawyer, but you know, not many other things than that.
But you see, again, I mean, it wasn't just the background you came from. I mean, of course, your family were a decent family. They supported you. You had that amount. But I mean, you also had a stammer too, and a stutter.
Yes, I do. I still stutter when I try and talk too fast.
But you talk fast all the time.
And
You're
I'm
famous
very
for it.
conscious of it.
Are you?
know, yeah, there are moments when I have some days when I can't say words that begin with W, and I have some days that I get stuck on words with T. And I actually had a year from my 4th grade until the 5th grade where I actually didn't talk very much at school because kids laughed at me because I stuttered so badly. I had the kind of stutter where I would get stuck on a word and it was kind of like, please! And they would just die laughing like you're doing now. And I would end up after school punching whoever was the first person that laughed at me. So I just stopped talking to avoid fighting a lot.
But when you went on stage, when you started movies, I mean, it disappeared, did it? Is that
Well, I guess because I can absorb myself in a character to the point that the character does not stutter. I've actually portrayed a character that did stutter, and it was one of the hardest things I ever had to do because it was hard for me to stop. And I've had teachers who stuttered that I couldn't have conversations with because when they stuttered, it made me want to stutter, and I didn't want them to think I was mocking them.
Terrible stutter. Couldn't get a sentence out. I mean, it would be uncomfortable for you. Yeah, there are a few. Oh yeah, it would be that kind of thing where you'd want to finish my sentence because you'd be waiting for me to say. Just horrible. It's just a terrible stutter. And out of that came a few things. I got my sense of humor out of that because I said, well, yeah, I stutter, but I can make you laugh, and I can watch this. I can do stupid shit and make you laugh in school. And I wasn't a very smart student either. And I also learned that when I got on stage that I magically stopped stuttering.
I mean, that's strange. I mean, that
Very
happens to
strange.
one or two people, doesn't it?
I mean, you still hear a little bit of it in my voice. I mean, everybody has a little bit of a, see that little catch, that little pause is me thinking about what I'm going to say next, so I don't.
Feels leaning forward.
Yeah, it's horrible.
I mean, it's so much is made of your career being full of ups and downs, but I mean, as you said, that's an inevitable consequence. Nobody goes like that.
And if you're trying to really do it as an actor
Yeah.
Versus just a presence, you will always have ups and downs because being an actor and being true to that, you're doing different types of roles and characters, and you're not leaning on only your presence. And that's something that you then have to accept the ups and downs with.
But one of the things that of course, might have happened to you, and I wonder if it did, when you were at that young age, was that it can turn your head. It can make you cocky. It can make you think that you're the king of the castle.
Well, it could, but on the other hand, life is so humbling, it's difficult to really... I mean, I think you have to be a little off for it to go to your head, because right next to, you know, all the compliments are insults and right next to all the ups or downs, and so I think you have to be a little off-center to really allow it to go to your head.
Is there a moment you can remember where you were brought back to earth?
Well, I kind of learned how to harness that wildness, that kind of wild attitude on TV. Working on TV on a weekly show like that was kind of low stakes. It's not like film, you know. You can kind of, you know, mess up an episode this week, and next week you have another episode that's
It's
okay.
great discipline, isn't it? Great
It is.
learning as well.
It
I mean,
is.
you learn all about directing and everything. I was thinking.
I paid attention to it. I paid attention to lenses and how they lit it, because it's the same kind of camera that you use in films. We shot that on the same kind of camera.
Now, it's one thing wanting to be an actor. It's another thing becoming famous. And the kind of fame, particularly that television gives you, that kind of international, familiar fame, if you like.
Sure does.
Yeah.
Sure does.
I mean, have you coped with that well in your life, or what?
Well, I've grown to cope with it. I really didn't handle it very well when I first started out. I was really perplexed by it all. I mean, TV makes you world famous, makes you instantly famous.
Yeah, sure.
So I never really had the opportunity to play supporting roles in someone else's films, to kind of work my way up the ladder. I was okay with it until I realized that a switch had been turned off.
Well, I don't know. It's hard to actually predict movie stardom. You know, it's easier to predict theatrical stardom because in New York, that's what was closest to New Jersey, which is where I grew up, and my mother was an actress and a drama teacher and a director, and so theater was very real to me. Movies a little less real, but nevertheless sought after. So I think it's always hard to imagine that you're really going to make it.
Well, it happened right about at a time when the press really became. They looked around and they saw no one was ever going to stop them from becoming the animals that they are now. I mean, you guys have had that here for years, so I mean it's not a big deal. I mean, you know, Demi and I kind of caught that wave, and fortunately we were able to move out of Los Angeles.
All the time. I mean, you name it. I remember one day feeling kind of down about myself, and I had a beautiful 1964 British Jaguar, and I decided that I was going to be quite full of myself, and decided that I was going to celebrate and go driving, and I put that recording from the Lelouch film Man and a Woman. And I was thinking things like, I'm a great big movie star, great big movie star. And bam, I conked out. In the middle of Sunset Boulevard, and I had to push the car, and that music was still playing. And it was so awful. And I remember people giving me the finger and yelling, move it. And I thought, just as I start to get full of myself, look what happens. And I pushed it to some, there was a big Saudi mansion, and I had to knock on their door and get them up, and it was just awful.
So that brought you down to earth.
Well, and many things like that, I'm sure. I just don't even bother going there anymore.
But I mean, what do these ups and downs teach you? I mean, do they just teach you that, well, what is the lesson that you learn from all that, from the success and the lows that you have? I mean,
well,
to ignore
my
both of them?
father even told me years ago, just try to take everything on an even keel. Don't take the highs too seriously, and don't take the lows too seriously. All the time. I mean, you name it. I remember one day feeling kind of down about myself, and I had a beautiful 1964 British Jaguar, and I decided that I was going to be quite full of myself, and decided that I was going to celebrate and go driving, and I put that recording from the Lelouch film Man and a Woman. And I was thinking things like, I'm a great big movie star, great big movie star. And bam, I conked out. In the middle of Sunset Boulevard, and I had to push the car, and that music was still playing. And it was so awful. And I remember people giving me the finger and yelling, move it. And I thought, just as I start to get full of myself, look what happens. and I pushed it to some, there was a big Saudi mansion, and I had to knock on their door and get them up, and it was just awful.
So that brought you down to earth.
Well, and many things like
Sure,
that, I'm
sure,
sure. I just don't even bother going there anymore.
But I mean, what do these ups and downs teach you? I mean, do they just teach you that, well, what is the lesson that you learn from all that, from the success and the lows that you have? I mean,
Well,
do you know
my
both of them?
father even told me years ago, just try to take everything on an even keel. Don't take the highs too seriously, and don't take the lows too seriously.
So do I want to live like I'm living now, or do I want to go back to living like I used to live? And it's easy to make that decision. So I've never had, you know, a relapse, or I've never gone back, and I've pretty much gone past that part of my life. I like hanging out in bars with my friends, and I drink ginger ale, and they drink, and I don't want to drink. And
He was the best.
Well, he certainly had the most style and most original.
It is a problem. And why is it our fault? What did we do? What?
And it's an amazing thing.
Samuel L. Jackson, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
In the meantime, Bruce Willis, thank you very much indeed.
God bless you. Thank you.
Me too.
Good. Sounds lovely. Thank you.